What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Want to give a big shout out to Carolyn Claire 1541 for submitting this video to us for us to react to. Top 50 Larry Bird plays from the YouTube channel Squad Dawkins. I have reacted to quite a bit of content from this channel, and they do a very good job at editing and putting these videos together for us. So again, Carolyn Claire, you've been a supporter here for quite some time. I appreciate you. Much love, much respect. Check out our Larry Bird playlist, folks, and let's get into this video. Roughly 48 minutes long. Let's get into it.
We have Larry Bird come into our first camp, and I'm looking at Larry Bird like, he's just a white guy, coming out to play. So I was guarding him, and he's about 15 feet away, and bam, here comes one jump shot. I better step up a little bit. Bam. By the time I get through guarding him, he's out about 25 feet, still raining down jump shots. I'm thinking all of a sudden, damn, this white guy can play.
Larry Bird scored 60 points. Look at the Boston players mob him. It is the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen in my life.
This was the smartest guy in the world of basketball.
Bird with the pass through the legs of Sigma.
The essence of Larry Bird, in one word, is toughness.
How many times does he drive that spike through your heart with shots like this?
He was just a phenomenal teammate who could do anything and everything by himself, but always in the framework of the team.
Bird goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again. He did it again.
My boy Johnny Mose. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. The greatest broadcaster of all time is Johnny Mose. And my boy Chick Hearn up there too.
Look at people like MacArthur, when war happens, and Patton, General Patton. There's a war for them to shine in. Larry was born to play basketball.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass.
Time for my Johnny Mose impersonation. Hopefully my DB filter on my microphone doesn't mess this up. It doesn't like me when I do my Johnny Mose impersonations. It always distorts them. Bird! Oh, Bird! Steals the inbound pass. Out the DJ. DJ lays it in. Celtics up. Don't mess that up, microphone. Don't mess up my Johnny Mose impersonation. Oh.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
Hello, basketball fans. I'm Rick Kamla. As Larry Bird turns 50, we thought...
Yo, I remember this guy. Oh, I was about to say he used to be on NBA TV, but I'm actually reading the full description of this video, and it's a snippet from NBA TV. Yeah, you know what? I used to like him. I always thought a lot of times he was very fair in his assessments, and he was definitely pro Kobe, so I rocked with him for that reason.
Thought it was only fitting to come to Boston to honor the legend. So for the next hour, we are bringing you a collection of plays, anecdotes, and memories as we count down the top 50 moments of Larry's career with the Celtics. Bird left Boston in 1992 after 13 years of glory. But when he arrived here in 1979, Red Auerbach Celtics were down and out and looking for a savior.
Everything's starting to fall into place. I hope you all realize this. We got Larry, one or two little moves, and we're ready to go.
First game, I just remember so vividly that they announced Larry Bird's name, and somebody from one of the top tiers threw out a dove.
All of a sudden, the bird just flew across the garden, and goes, "Oh my gosh, how ironic is that?" there's a symbol there.
Henderson broken up. There's Bird again. Larry Bird with a steal. Henderson
pass.
to Bird. Bird, little fake down the lane. Oh, Larry Bird!
It was if I was a college student who had signed up for the big art class, and in came the new professor, Michelangelo.
Although he's still going for those fakes. Whoa, Bird! Save that one, guy.
That play right, that's one of my favorite Larry Bird plays. I love the rhythm. I love how fluid that movement was with the spin and the dribble with two defenders into the fade. That's one of my favorite Larry Bird moves. I gotta rewind that one actually, bro. I got to. I love that move. I love that move. I'll put it right here.
Big art class, and in came the new professor, Michelangelo.
He's still going for
Smooth
those
as
fakes.
hell.
Save that one, guy. How did he make that? Their advantage. Bird on the drive. Slapped away by Vincent. Bird gets it back.
Quick hands, baby.
Saves it.
Crossover.
Nice pass to Maxwell.
Punch pass.
He didn't have to be blazing fast, and he didn't have to jump over the roof to get his point across.
Robinson the board. The Bullets can take the lead. Bird the steal. Takes it himself for two. What a play by Bird.
Where the hell did he come from?
They never gave up on any play. And not to mention all that hustle made up for just how slow he was.
Hale charged for it. He goes down. Larry Bird dives for a loose ball and gets it to McHale.
He had to dive, he dove. He had to crash, he crashed. But one thing I think that separated him in our minds as we watched this develop was his passing. It was just extraordinary.
A quick up now to Bird on the left side. Bird goes behind the back, down the lane, dumps it over the shoulder to Perry, 6-footer good.
The one that first got people's real attention was the backward tip of the long offensive rebound in the All-Star game.
Bird comes out on the move, dishes to Malone. Malone comes up, stayed with it, Sigma with a hand. Tapped it back to Gervin. I don't believe he saw George Gervin.
No-look passes, the passes that he threw the ball there and there wasn't anybody there, but all of a sudden there was somebody there.
Oh, Bird to Maxwell. Oh, we got to see that one again.
When I first got to Boston, I called my friends back home and I said, hey, you gotta see this Bird guy. He's like phenomenal.
They clear aside for Larry. Bird. Great pass. McHale for two.
I hit you with passes that I've never seen people throw before.
Won't go. Bird the rebound. Over his head to McHale. What a play by Bird.
I saw him get a rebound and make a pass, and I go, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Kellogg shoots and is short with it and hard, and the rebound of Bird. Look at that pass. Oh, what a show. Great play.
Oh, show. Forget about it. He would just flick it or tap it or bounce it to a teammate without even catching it.
Danny's left open, looking for three. Bounce, Bird. Nice tip to McHale. What a play. Long pass to Bird. Oh, what a pass to Parrish.
At least 5,000 points that I got from Larry.
Celtics looking to just isolate Bird. Oh, my goodness. How did he do that?
Larry Bird is the greatest passing forward in the history of the NBA. There's no second place, there's no third place. It's just others receiving votes.
Bird with the pass through the legs of Sigma. Oh!
You got to have a lot of cojones to make a pass like that in the heat of the game.
I was getting ready to start a game and get up to the jump ball, and Larry said, just out of the blue, he goes, go ahead, Kevin, tell Elvin Hayes what you told me. And I didn't tell him anything. And I said, well, go ahead and tell him. Like, you said you were going to kick his ass. And I'm like, oh, man. And Elvin Hayes is looking at me. Well, at that point, it was hard to say, no, I didn't say anything. I said, I guess so. But, Larry just got stuff started up. Larry is a funny guy.
If you ask Larry's teammates, they'll tell you that he might have been slow of foot, but he had a quick wit and was not afraid to show it off. And for Celtic fans, reading about Larry's exploits in the Boston Herald had become a happy ritual. Part of the fun was that he would say almost anything, and then he'd always find a way to back it up.
The All-Star game is in Dallas, the first three-point contest, and he just starts looking at guys, doesn't say a word, and people are getting kind of nervous. And then he finally speaks and says, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second.
Some pure trash talking and just general bravado. And the theatrics of it all was made for Larry.
And Larry would back up his boast by not only winning the contest, but blowing away the competition with a phenomenal shooting display.
That check's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing, and my teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
Bird would luck out again the next year, but in 1988.
Larry Bird a damn fool. The fool said they had that check. That check had my name on it for a week already. Yo. Bird, you a damn fool, bro.
It looked like his luck had finally run out.
Well, he certainly doesn't have that normal Bird rhythm going for him. Come on, Dave. Seconds remaining. He has only 7. Has to be 15.
That's 8. Make it 9. And 10. And 11 as we're counting.
13. He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
Yeah, you go with that crooked finger. Look at that finger. The crooked finger. I wanted to say this. Y'all know Larry Bird. He used to do things just to make things more challenging for him because he could get bored out there because of how superior and how immensely talented he was. And a lot of times there's much disparity between him and the next guy in the field. So part of me honestly thinks he purposely missed all those shots in the beginning of this round just to give him some extra juice to make it more challenging for him to try to win it, where he had to hit all of them, damn near all the shots once he got to that point there. I think he did it on purpose. I think he purposely missed a handful of shots. I'm telling you, call me crazy, but Bird has been known to do things to create challenges for himself. It's not beyond the realm of impossibility.
He knew exactly what the score was. He knew that ball was going to win the competition for him, and it's almost like he did it in dramatic fashion just to make it more fun.
He knew it when he let it go and was headed for the winner's circle.
He felt control, like a conductor, like a maestro.
Now they clear aside for Larry. Fakes it. Bird.
He passed it off the backboard to himself.
This guy was going to do one thing almost every night that really spun your head around. Made you do like a Lyndon Blair. You just couldn't believe this was happening.
Bird to Vincent to Bird. Over the backboard! Oh, God, don't believe it.
He was playing chess and everybody else was playing checkers. He was 3 moves ahead of everybody else. And you never knew what he was going to do, but you knew it was going to be something special.
Bird steals it. You can see it coming, and look at the pass to McHale.
Isn't that beautiful?
He would do a head fake, or he would do this, and the guy would turn, and he would just fake the crap out of guys.
There's the play of the game, right there.
Larry used to come in the locker rooms. He'd be getting his ankles taped, and he'd say, hey, ball boy, run in and go find the scoring record in this building. He needed those kind of challenges.
Bird with the step.
One of the great fourth quarters in NBA playoff history, Game 7 against Detroit in 1987. Larry Bird suddenly, for no explicable reason, decided to bank in a left-hand 15-footer.
Larry Bird. I don't believe that, John.
Well. And I can tell you, talking about Magic Johnson, and that the Lakers were watching that game. This guy just about fell off the chair, just laughing. And I asked him about it. It was just because. He was amusing himself in a playoff game.
Larry was a basketball genius who had a mask of a hick from Finch Lick out as his calling card. And if you believe that for 1 second, you were going to get beat.
Larry Bird with a big steal.
on to the championship of the NBA.
I remember the time when Larry got on the roll, started shooting the ball. Every shot was going in.
Goodbye, she's gone.
I guess the two-pointer was too close.
When he ran by the bench, he goes, "That's a heat check. Just see how hot I am." All right, it runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league. And Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, "Hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench that can guard me?" He goes, "So nobody out here can." Frank looked down at the bench and goes, "No."
Boston likes to think of itself as a tough, blue-collar city, and Larry Bird was as tough as they came. The legendary Red Auerbach used to say, Larry didn't come to play, he came to win. And if you saw Bird play with the game on the line, you knew exactly what Red meant.
9 seconds to go. This is it. You can count it down with me. Bird inbounds. It comes to Maxwell. Max puts it on the floor. We're down to 6. Bird in the corner. Double fake. Jumper. Score.
He wasn't out to play basketball for the money. He was out there to step up and win and look in your eyes and say to you, you can't beat me.
They clear it out a bit for John. Larry tries to fight his way through with Barkley all over. They're not going to call a foul. It goes to Bird. He's open. Got it at the buzzer. Oh! Well, we wondered if he had the magic again. There it was.
He had unshakable confidence. If he could get his shot off, he felt like we was going to win the ball game.
2-point Maverick lead.
Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed.
Bird for 3. Yes! Larry Bird for 3. Celtics lead it by 1.
I love it.
What can you say about Larry Bird?
Imagine the arrogance, the wonderful arrogance of a man who needs 2 to tie or 3 to win and says, let's roll the dice.
I remember we were playing Washington in Washington one night, and Larry just hit what would have been the game-winning shot, but KC called timeout.
It won't count. It does not count. Boston had called a timeout.
Larry came back to the bench, and he was a little upset.
He looks at the bench and says, hey guys, when I come back after timeout, I'm going to go right to the same spot, and I'm going to kick it in.
He told Washington, I'm going to get the ball.
2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot in the Celtics winner. Boy, this is something else. Incredible. Bird wins it.
Imagine hitting 2 game winners in the same game, back to back.
Buzzer.
How many people you know would talk to the other team like this and says, I'm going to stick it in your face?
3-point Portland lead. 7 and 2/10 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. All right, here's Bird. Gets the all over. He fires. It's a 3-pointer, and he's tied the game.
Oh, man, Larry was so confident, so extremely confident.
All right, here we go. 15 seconds left in regulation. Bird's 3-pointer. No. Rebound tipped out deep. Ray Williams has it. Williams to Bird again. Up fakes. Fires another 3-pointer. Oh! Ties it up. 113 to 113 with 5 seconds left to play.
Larry said, you guys want to win the game? Everybody said, sure. Yeah, absolutely. He goes, give me the ball and get out of the way.
Bird pops out, gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again!
There's nobody better with a game on the line. Maybe nobody better ever.
I remember in particular one where I had to make a pass in from Phoenix, and the Suns crowd was going wild.
Max looking, loops it to Bird, a runner. It's good! It's good! Bird hits it!
Bird has had to hit more one-legged game-winning shots than anybody in NBA history, let alone from three-point land off one leg.
The Celtics win it!
As soon as Larry let it go, he virtually turns to the bench and he's looking over like, you should have had more than one guy on me.
Bird hits and the Celtics win it! The three-pointer by Larry Bird at the buzzer!
You could have heard a mouse pee on cotton in that building. It got that quiet all of a sudden.
Was under 10 seconds. And we came back out of the timeout. Larry said, I'm gonna get it right here, X, and I'm gonna shoot it in your blinking face. And I was like, well, I'll be right here waiting on you too.
Let's see if they wind it all the way down. Bird
hit it, and he looked at me, and he was like, damn. I didn't mean to leave nothing on the clock. And I just looked at him and said, oh, conceited bastard.
The greatest buzzer beater of them all was against Portland on a Sunday afternoon in Boston.
DJ again to make the inbounds pass. They double team at Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it! All right!
It was just an impossible shot. When you looked at it, he was behind the backboard. I mean, just had no business getting to the rim, let alone going in.
Quinn Buckner and ML are embracing him, and it was like they'd won the championship. It was a great buzzer beater.
Ball game's over. Boston wins.
We'd won the game, and he'd won it in almost spectacular fashion, which Larry could do. I said, Larry, how do you make all those shots? Just like that. He said, I do all that all the time.
When we came in Boston Garden, we used to practice in the morning. Larry Bird would be up top, running around the gym, upstairs.
He used to come into the old Boston Garden about 3:30 in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game, and you'd eventually start to hear the pounding of a ball, of a single basketball hitting the court. And there was Larry out there by himself shooting.
I remember Bill Fitch used to say, you know, Kevin McHale, well, he can be like Larry. And Kevin goes, oh, I got another life. Because Larry slept it, ate it, drank it, it was all basketball for him.
From the moment he came into the league, Larry's legend began to grow, doing things on the court that nobody had ever seen before. And when the fans went to Boston Garden, it was like they were going to see just how far Bird could push his talents. And they usually found out that it was pretty far.
You see that statue right there? That is the famous Larry Bird La Montagne statue, carved from wood. One single block. Absolutely incredible. I did a reaction video to a montage of videos surrounded around this amazing statue, and you can go check that out in the Larry Bird playlist if you want to learn more about it. It's a beautiful work of art.
They needed 3 to win it, and I got to play Larry. So I'm down in the post knowing that he's going to come off of a pick. So I'm holding his jersey, and I'm doing everything I can to block his path, whatever I could do to stop him from getting an open shot.
Larry Bird with a big three-point bomb.
Once the shot was airborne, I just knew it was going in. That's the nightmare that you have when you know a player like Larry Bird has an opportunity to get a shot off.
Bird's clutch three had given Boston the lead in the final moments, but Magic Johnson quickly snatched it back.
5 seconds to go. Magic with a hook shot, scores with 2, and the Celtics trail by 1.
There were still 2 seconds left for Larry to work his own magic.
He slid down to the corner, caught the ball, and just turned and shot the ball right in front of me.
Bird fires it, and the Lakers have won.
It was gripping basketball theater, and even though Larry missed this time, the moment still left a vivid impression on his opponents.
He looked at me. He said, "How could you leave me that wide open, coach?" You know, and you are lucky. You dodged the big-time bullet.
I still have nightmares of that shot. What if?
The one thing I wish could happen tonight is my mother to be here, because I know she's very proud looking down. She always told me, for a blonde-headed, snotty-nosed kid, you did very well, Larry. I'm very proud of you. But thank you very much. I'm so thrilled and so honored to be here tonight. God bless each and every one of you.
Here's a guy who epitomizes what the Hall of Fame is about. Someone who has made and changed history. And to be there that night, it touched me. Larry said that he always felt that if you weren't on the Boston Celtics, you never really knew what it was like to be in the NBA.
Kevin McHale on the 3rd of March, 1985, had a 56-point game against the Pistons on Sunday afternoon in Boston. And Larry, after the game, kiddingly told Kevin, you should have gone for 60.
He said, nah, you should have kept going because that may not last. Hell, it was a week or 10 days later, we were down in New Orleans, and he just got on fire.
Bird with 8 seconds. Bird on the drive. The runner is good again. Larry Bird is just unconscious. They open the right side. Bird the follow away. He drills it again. You're seeing a great performance as you'll ever see from Larry Bird.
Larry, that game was unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. Dominique guarded him. Cliff guarded him. Antoine Carr guarded him. I guarded him. Nothing worked.
Dennis Johnson, a lead for Bird.
They want him to keep scoring, too.
Bird takes the jumper and hits it again.
He makes a jump shot, and the Atlantic players are high-fiving each other like, man, this guy's so hot.
Bird has 54. There's Bird. Bird, 14 seconds, he got fouled. He hit the shot. Oh, boy.
He called it. He said rainbow trainer's lap. You know, and he faded away, hit the shot, and fell into our trainer's lap.
And Bird falls into Joe O'Toole. Larry Bird. What more can you say? Larry Bird, Larry Bird.
Guys have scored 60 points before, but the way he was getting those 60, falling down, falling out of bounds, I mean, it was incredible.
With 3 seconds, Bird will try another jumper and hit it at the buzzer. Bird has 60 points. Larry Bird scored 60 points. Look at the Boston players mob him. It is the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen in my life.
In his very first NBA Finals game, Larry Bird would add to Celtic lore and give the basketball world one of its most shocking and spectacular highlights.
Larry Bird follows his own shot. Oh, what a
His body was behind the basket, and he released that left-handed shot. And you say, man, did he really do that out there?
Bird, tremendous instinct for the offensive board that time.
That was luck, but it went in, though, didn't it? That's Larry.
We closed it down in Houston, and it was a great moment to be part of a world championship team. And it was a team. Larry, as tremendous a player he was individually, it was a team, and he made us all better players.
For Larry Bird to win his first championship, and for a lot of guys to win their first championships was great.
It's all over. The Boston Celtics have won the World Championship in 1981, and they have become the 14th flag winners for the Boston Garden.
This is a very big one for us. We practiced awful hard this year. We stuck together. When going got tough, we came through. They came back on us, but not good enough.
But before Bird's Celtics could celebrate that title, they would have to overcome a seemingly insurmountable 3-1 deficit against Julius Erving and the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
They had been in the identical position the year before, and Philly had come into Boston and closed them out in the 5th game.
But facing elimination, Larry and the Celtics refused to lose.
The reason why we was able to come back from being down 3-1, because of Larry. He never for 1 second let us believe that we could not win that series.
And then we get this extraordinarily dramatic and emotional Game 7. With 5 and change to go, Philadelphia's leading by 9. And the Celtics really looked dead in the water.
The last 5 minutes of that game, the referees just put their whistles in their pockets and said, unless I see blood, I'm not calling anything.
Darryl Dawkins is absolutely and positively mauled by 3 different Celtics as he goes to the basket. No call. Bird comes out with the rebound, dribbles down the left side of the court, and decides to do something he didn't do very often. Bank it.
Bird's coming to the left. Stop and pop off the glass. It's gone. Boston leads 91-89.
That was typical Larry, rising to the occasion and wanting to take that big shot. That put us into the finals. It was just another great moment, and to be part of it, it was a very special time and place.
Game 6, Boston versus Houston, 1986. The fans were in the building, in their seats, all 15,000 of them, chanting, Larry, 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 MVP, MVP. comes back in the locker room before the game and he says, guys, the fans, they're in their seats and they want blood. Right now, they want the blood of the Houston Rockets. But if we don't deliver today, they're going to want our blood. So let's get going here.
Bird carries out the game plan. And the Rockets want to know what hit him.
And then Larry went out and painted the ultimate Bird masterpiece.
Bird's been marvelous. How's that?
Larry Bird was so hot that day, he would take the ball and dribble out to the three-point line and hit fadeaway threes as he runs back down the court. We are the champions.
Bird goes in a three-point land. He makes it a 28-point lead. Pandemonium losing this guard. Pandemonium right now.
One thing we did this year is play hard. We knew we had a lot of talent, but we came to play every night. And in the game today, we knew we had it because it was very aggressive and took the game right away from them.
When we would go on these long West Coast road trips, Larry would always announce to the Boston Globe before we left that, okay, it's a 7 or 8 game trip. We're going to win them all. I'm going to average 42 points, 21 rebounds, 13 assists. And then he would go out and do all this.
Throw to Bird. Here comes Bird. Puts it up. Counts the bucket. We're tied at 104. And Bird will go to the line for his 51st.
And then at the end of one of the trips, he had accomplished every goal. We hadn't lost a game on the trip. And Larry told all of us players and the media too, we were all standing around waiting to leave. He said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed at least through 3 quarters. And at the end of 3 quarters, the next night in Portland against poor Jerome Kersey, he had 27 points left-handed. And it was a remarkable performance.
For Celtic fans, Larry Bird had come to represent not only excellence, but hope. There was a feeling that no matter how bad things looked, as long as Larry was there, everything was going to turn out all right in the end. But that belief in Bird would be severely tested in the 1988 playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta had these young guys, and they were athletic, and the Celtics were old, and they weren't the team they were a couple years ago, and you sort of had a feeling that that was going to be the beginning of the end for the Celtics.
The Hawks were led by their superstar, Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique was a gifted athlete. I mean, he was the human highlight film, and that was for real.
Leading 3-2, the Hawks came within a basket of closing out the Celtics in Game 6.
They looked death in the face and dodged the bullet.
Well, they had their chance. You know, they had a big chance to beat us. I think now that we're going to come out and play like we did tonight, but we're going to be at home. And our shots are going to be dropping a little bit better, and we're going to be running a little bit faster. So I'd say Sunday's going to be a big win for the Celtics.
Basically, he was saying it was over. I thought we were going to win the game. I really did. I didn't think they could stop Neek in that game. I had that much confidence in him.
And for 3 quarters of Game 7, that confidence was rewarded. Wilkins! Wow. As Wilkins and the Hawks seemed on the verge of beating Boston. But in the 4th quarter, Bird would answer Wilkins' challenge.
Bird now cuts free. Putting Boston ahead. Here's Wilkins. That's what they must have. Cuts free. Left hands in for the field goal. That puts the Celtics back on top.
Larry was torturing him on the offensive end, and Dominique was torturing me on when he had the ball. I said, Bird, don't you got them all riled up now. I said, I'm having a hell of a time guarding them.
Mano duel, Bird versus Wilkins.
Dominique hits a 3. Ties it for Atlanta.
The 3 made in the left corner, I can still see that, was just a big shot that he didn't have any room.
3 for Bird. Larry Bird promised it, and he is delivering in this quarter with 18 points. In deep to Dominique. Wilkins responds. With Bird again pulling up.
It's a duel. Put down your saber.
It just reached the pinnacle of their competitiveness against each other, and neither one would be denied.
It's Bird's turn. Comes up with a shot, and the Celtics lead it.
It was a special moment in sports where you see these two guys that were were just making one more difficult shot after the other, keeping their teams in the game.
Well, who's going to blink first?
And Dominique high off the glass.
Dominique actually scored the most points, but Larry Bird scored the big points down the stretch of that game.
Is this a critical trip for the Atlanta Hawks? Was that a great defensive move by Bird as he steals the ball for the Celtics? Lead to Bird off the fake, improves his position, and the Celtics are up again.
One way or another, Bird kills you.
I just knew that we had to stop this guy, but it was Larry Bird. We never did.
We sort of had a feeling that Atlanta might take over their role as the ruler of the East. And that afternoon, Larry just said, well, maybe you will do that, but you're not going to do it here, and you're not going to do it in my building.
Another defensive stop, a must here for the Hawks. Johnson gets it into Bird, and Wilkins is there. Bird comes free. Bird for the win. You are watching what greatness is all about.
The moment when we absolutely needed it, he just took it upon himself to play as perfect as he ever played.
Wilkins had seen the best of Larry Bird, but 1988 would be Larry's last healthy season. And by 1991, age and injury had taken the best from him.
Larry Bird at this point in his career is now squeezing to the end. It's a ceaseless struggle to get healthy enough to play.
Bird and the Celtics entered the playoffs against the young Indiana Pacers and their brash leader, Chuck Person.
Look out, Person puts up the three. He's putting on a show. Go ahead, Chuck.
The series went to a fifth and deciding game in the Boston Garden. But Larry's back was hurting.
He spent the night at the hospital in traction, so he had to be in just unbelievable pain.
I remember walking in the locker room, and I saw Larry before the game, and I said, how you feeling? Well, I'm okay, I guess. Well, he wasn't okay. The guy could barely put his pants on.
But Larry was determined to be there for his team.
Let's see if they go to Person. There he is. Yes!
As Bird reached deep into his arsenal to counter Person's long-range barrage, the Celtics held the game even throughout a bitterly contested first half. But as the second quarter drew to a close, disaster would strike.
Bird had it knocked away by Sanders. Power shot recovery. Bird is hurt. Bird is down.
Obviously, I knew this was coming when they brought up this series. I've spoken on this play plenty of times on this channel. It's hard for me to watch sometimes, but man, you want to talk about a warrior, to take that to the face and finish the game. Man. What was this one? If I'm not mistaken, an orbital fracture, something like that.
Now, and he's hurt.
It was a thud when he hit that floor. You heard that boom. The breath went out of that building because they thought that, that was it.
He got rocked to the floor as he was going to get that loose ball.
When we went at halftime, he was in the training room. So nobody knew anything. And was he going to play anymore or was he all done?
As the second half began with Bird in the locker room,
And then he lost it in the open floor.
the Pacers looked to put them away.
Bird sacrificed his body instead of catching himself. He used his hand to poke the ball away to keep possession, secure possession.
They know the leader is not on the floor. Someone needs to step up now for Boston.
The Celtics were in trouble. The younger, more agile Pacers definitely were in position to win that game.
And here comes Larry Bird.
Then all of a sudden, here comes Larry, and the Garden erupted. The savior was back.
Bird is on the bench. He's got the warm-up jacket on. Listen to the crowd.
I got the sense that the Pacers were stunned to see him there, and that they thought, holy shit, what's going to happen now?
Midcourt outlet goes to Bird. Bird spots up from 20. Switch!
Reggie Miller's shot rebounded by Bird, who whips it down for North. And he is back in the ball game.
From a psychological standpoint, you know, having our leader back on the court gave us a tremendous adrenaline push.
Bird ahead of the field.
In his dramatic return, Bird gave the Celtics new life and added another chapter to his legend.
Larry fakes the shot.
So Larry Bird is answering the challenge put forth to him, and he's letting it all hang out today.
The fans at that point wouldn't let the team lose because of what Larry was doing.
Bird has to hurry. 5 on the shot clock. The turnaround. Rainbow is all net, and he's going to the line.
You say to yourself, how many times does he drive that spike through your heart with shots like this?
But certainly this, out of the pages of Willis Reed.
Eclipsing even a Celtics victory, Bird's stirring performance touched all those who witnessed it.
You know, I already had a lot of respect for Larry Bird, but the way he played today, you know, it's just like the stuff you tell your kids about. And I told him at the end of the game, I've never seen anything like that.
Truly amazing, and you know, it's courageous and all those other things. And he's the leader. He is the leader of the Celtics, and he will be until he retires.
I knew Larry was out there shooting 1,000 jump shots a day, so I was out there shooting 1,000. You know, I knew he was working on his game every summer, and I had to work on my game every summer. He wins the Rookie of the Year, I win the championship. And then we just went on from there. I always want to have one up on Larry, and he's going to try to have one up on myself. That's what it's about. That's what a true rivalry is about.
Larry Bird was beloved by the entire city of Boston, and all Celtic fans knew that it was part of their tradition to beat the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. It was a tradition Larry desperately wanted to uphold, and the fact that his main rival, Magic Johnson, was the leader of the Lakers made him want it even more. In 1979, Bird lost to Magic in the NCAA Finals, and from that moment on, they'd be forever linked.
It was always Magic Bird, Magic Bird. Ever since Indiana State and Michigan State played, it's been that way.
And in 1984, they'd finally meet in the NBA Finals.
It was an incredible build-up, and the world was watching because now it finally came down to these two players that are looked at somewhat as saviors of the league in Larry Bird and Magic Johnson coming together for the first time to do battle.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
As the series opened, it was the Lakers who would enjoy it at the Celtics' expense as they raced to a 2-1 series lead.
Waves, it was waves of fast break. It was a track meet.
We weren't going to let Larry Bird and his crew beat Magic and his crew. It was just that simple.
The Celtics cannot handle the speed of the Lakers.
We're taking hooks, body shots. We were in the clinch. So all we could do was stand against the ropes and just take it.
This has to be one of the most decisive routes in championship game history.
We went in the locker room and Larry made the famous statement that we play like sissies.
We got some great players on this team, but we don't have the players with the heart sometimes that we need.
I was sitting right next to him, and he said in his mad, angry Indiana accent.
Today, when you see Magic slapping high fives and guys going behind their back and shooting layups on us all day long, it seems that somebody would try to put a stop to it. But until we get our hearts where they belong, we're in trouble.
He challenged all of our manhood publicly, and he had never done that before.
He said, hey, we need to meet these guys in the parking lot and start the fight out there.
This is not the marching down, boys. This is marching on to victory. That's what it is.
We got in each other's face to a man and said there will be no more layups. No more layups in this series.
Cooper to Kareem, to Worthy, to Randall. He should go the distance. Oh! And you knew this was going to happen. You could see it coming.
When you can't catch something, you got to knock it down, to slow it down. And that's what they did. And just all hell broke loose.
Kareem slings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird, jaw to jaw.
Larry and Kareem got into it, and then Larry was taking the ball out of bounds. Michael Cooper was trying to guard him. Larry kicked it back and kicked it into the stands. It was awesome.
It was a great strategy move to take us out of our game. And mentally, we were not there because we were trying to fight them instead of play basketball.
With Larry leading the way, Boston would claw their way into overtime. Now it was the Lakers who were reeling, and Larry was ready to deliver the knockout blow.
Gets it over to DJ. Bird goes right into the pivot. Now DJ holds the ball. Back in the Bird. The ball away is gone. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What a play.
It was almost like vindication for Larry Bird that, you know, hey, you might have won during college, but you know what? Here's my opportunity now.
Boston Celtics have evened this NBA World Championship Series at 2 games apiece.
That's right, we'll come back. We'll be back.
Larry, last time you closed it saying you guys played like sissies. What's the word you use for the team now in this game?
Well, we just play like a bunch of women tonight. We can still play a lot harder.
Friday, June 4th, 1984, and the temperature at game time inside the Garden is 97 degrees Fahrenheit, and there was no air conditioning.
It was almost unbearable. It really was. By far, you know, I've spent time in Texas. I've lived in Texas. I've never been that hot. It was smothering.
Ooh, you thought you was in this, you know, a sauna.
Kareem had to have the oxygen tank because I guess the altitude, he's so tall.
While we were all out there dying, you know, from you can't breathe, you know, it was 100 degrees in Boston Garden. He looked fresh as a daisy.
Here's Larry Bird chugging down the court.
Larry Bird. This game is Larry Bird's. I mean, he's doing everything. For second! Shoot it! Shoot it! Shoot it!
We asked Larry about it, and he said, oh, hell, it's hotter back home playing at French Lick. It was completely magnificent in that game because it just showed mind over matter. Larry Bird went 15 for 20, had 34 points and 17 rebounds, and that was the defining game of that series.
The Boston Celtics.
I have to chime in with this. The first time LeBron James was playing in these conditions, he was catching leg cramps and had to get taken off the floor. So something like that. I can't remember exactly, but he was definitely catching cramps. Larry was like, baby, this is every day, baby. He said, this is what we do in French Lick. I'm gonna deliver this performance. Don't matter how steaming hot, muggy, humid the arena is, baby.
Trouts, the Los Angeles Lakers, 121.
Let's give both teams tremendous credit for playing a 48-minute steam bath. It seems as though they held up a little better than we did. The man who made the difference tonight was Mr. Bird.
Comes down to Game 7, Boston Garden, the first Game 7 against the Lakers since 1962 in Boston. You know, and Bird, I mean, the whole thing coming to a peak. It was a very, very highly anticipated game of basketball.
With the title within their grasp, Boston seized it. Larry had waited 5 years to settle his score with Magic, and now he'd finally done it in a series for the ages.
We went through the tough of the tough. We went through the Lakers to get there. Absolutely no one believed it. But the fact of the matter is, we believed in ourselves, and that was a lot because of the leadership Larry had.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champion.
I told Larry Bird, the way you played in that series, the way you conducted yourself and the way you played made me proud to be a Celtic.
Larry Bird, congratulations. You were the most valuable player. Does this get you even with Magic for what happened between Michigan State and Indiana State all those many years ago?
Yeah, we're professionals now, but I won this one for Terre Haute.
I just hate anytime playing against Larry, I want to win at anything. I hate losing to him. So don't bring it up no more.
What did Larry say? Burn, baby, burn.
The Larry Bird retirement ceremony. They had it on a night when there was no game. That's how special, that's how popular, that's how great Larry Bird is. They filled the Boston Garden, and
You couldn't get a ticket. Magic comes out, and it was just crazy. He had the Celtic t-shirt on underneath, and the speech that Magic gave.
Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
To have all the fans come back, to pay tribute and to say thank you. There was nothing like that on earth.
Tonight, my basketball career is officially over, and I had a blast. So tonight I leave. I leave basketball forever. I leave a game that I loved. Sorry, but I'm...
All right, we haven't got to the number one moment yet. So before we get to it, drop down in the comment section what you think the number one Larry Bird moment is going to be. Now, I'm sitting here thinking about it. We covered so many of his iconic, great performances. Covered the retirement ceremony here. And I'm like, what could be the number one? It would have to be... It would have to be his Hall of Fame enshrinement speech. Getting inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It has to be. It's gotta be. I don't know what else could be number one.
I'm gone. History. I dedicated my life to basketball, and I dedicated my life to the Boston Celtics. I say good night, Boston, and may God bless each and every one of you. Good night.
Red, you want to say something?
What I want to say is, you know how it feels because you've been here before. Me, I haven't scored a point. You know?
But you kind of brought the guys here that scored the points.
Well,
so you're overpaid.
There were so many qualities that made Larry Bird a great player, but it was his unshakable will that was the most important. And on the tension-filled night of May 26, 1987, when the Pistons and Celtics met in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, that will...
How could I? Of course. We didn't cover this yet. Of course it was this play. How silly. As many times as I have seen this play, reviewed it, and spoke on it, and imitated Johnny Mose. Freaking klutz, Blue. You stupid idiot. Get out of here. But you had to understand where I was coming from with the Basketball Hall of Fame. It was like, what's better than getting your jersey retired? I guess the next step is making it to the Hall of Fame. I mean, logically, that would have to be the next one, but we didn't even cover the iconic play. Silly me. Poor Isaiah Thomas. Throwing the ball in bounds. Larry saw it all along. Him and DJ telepathically talking. Anyway.
It was on display for all to see. With the series tied at 2, Bird would have to reach back for some vintage Celtic magic as the Pistons seized control in the game's final seconds.
Seasting bumps him a couple of times. Isaiah nails it top of the key with 17 seconds to go, and the Celtics call time.
Detroit by 1, 17 seconds, so Boston goes for the final shot.
On the left it goes to Bird. Bird guarded by Mahorn. Drives around him. Goes on in. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds by Ada. No, they call it the other way.
When we lost the last opportunity to score by throwing the ball away, the game was over. The Celtics had lost.
I think that the Celtic fans, I think that most of the arena and the Detroit Pistons forgot that Larry Bird hadn't quit.
Thomas wants to get it in quickly.
And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right out 1 second left. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up to me. And Boston has a 1-point lead.
So many players, they just wouldn't think that there's still a chance. And the fact that he made it happen.
Bird steals it and gets it to Johnson at the buzzer. Oh, my.
I think that that's the single greatest play in Larry's career. It's just another sign that Larry was just, destined or determined. I think it's a combination of both for him to be involved in so many special plays in his career.
The old Boston Garden is gone now, and Larry Bird is retired. But the memories that he gave to the people of Boston and basketball fans around the world will live on forever. From all of us here at NBA TV, happy birthday, Larry.
Did they mention it was his birthday earlier in the video? I had no idea. I believe Larry Bird's birthday is December 7th. Don't quote me on that. I think it's December 7th. But if I'm wrong, I know his birthday is definitely in December. And God willing, if I'm here, we're going to do a lot of Larry Bird content for his birthday. It'll be a fun time. But yeah, I'm not really going to say a whole bunch of stuff. I interrupted the video probably enough times and gave my inputs here and there. But I mean, what else can you really say about Larry Bird? The dude had an incredible career. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. If you're new to this channel and you haven't seen my Larry Bird takes, please, 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 we have more Larry Bird content than any other player here, basically, right here on this channel. So go check out our Larry Bird playlist. And you can also check out our 1980s Boston Celtics playlist if you want to see me react and talk more about the other players that were teammates of Larry Bird. But with that being said, for anybody that's new here, you want to know where I lie, or where I stand on Larry Bird, rather, is I believe Larry Bird is the third greatest basketball player to ever play the game of basketball. I also believe that Larry Bird is the greatest small forward to ever play the game of basketball. Yes, unlike many people, I believe Larry Bird is a better basketball player than LeBron James. I do truly believe that, and I stand by that, and I can back it up with facts all day and all night long. All right? Bird is truly a unicorn. We will never see another player quite like him. Dude went out there, like Red Auerbach said. Larry's not showing up to play. He's showing up to win. And he's going to leave it all out on the floor. And he's going to get the best out of his teammates, and they're going to get the best out of him. He's going to play hard on both ends of the floor. He's going to facilitate. He's going to give you buckets when you need him the most. He's going to outwit. He's going to outsmart everybody else on the floor. He's going to galvanize his troops. And he's going to rip the hearts out of the opponents more often than not. This is who Larry Bird was. The utmost professional, but yet one of the greatest assassins you'll ever see on the floor at the same time. Larry Bird cared about his teammates. He cared about the city of Boston. And he was truly a man of great class. Bird was always out there putting in hard work. When it was time to step on the court, he was putting his work boots on. He believed in hard work. That's how he was raised from his parents. Work hard, play hard, and give it your all in everything that you do. Be a man of promise. Be a man of loyalty. Money didn't mean anything to him. All things considered, obviously, we all feel like we should get what we deserve. But he never put money before the game of basketball. He really didn't. I mean, the man left money on the table, bro. You think about players that you want on your franchise and you want to be the face of your franchise. You know, I honestly think there's a handful of players that can carry that torch better than their contemporaries and better than most people that ever played this game, and Larry Bird was one of them. Larry Bird was one of those guys where you like, I don't care what franchise I'm at, I don't care how I build this team. This is the guy I want to be the face of my franchise. This is the guy I want to lead my team. This guy. Not many players in the history of the game can you so comfortably and so easily look at him and say that. And for so many reasons. For so many reasons. The man never cheated the game. You know, he believed in what he was able to do. He believed in himself. And it didn't matter what you gave Larry, who you put around him. Like I said, he was going to bring the best out of them and do his best and lead them. Might not always gotten to the championship every single time. That Eastern Conference was a beast when he was coming up in the 80s. But regardless, they made every series, every game competitive, win or lose. And he was going to have your team relevant. If they weren't winning a championship, they were going to be damn relevant. And they were going to be a problem that you had to deal with. No matter who you put around them. Didn't matter. Larry was sensational, man. You know, for all the talk about him not being athletic, yada, yada, yada. No, Larry Bird wasn't the fastest, couldn't jump the highest, wasn't necessarily strongest. But he had enough of what he needed, and the rest was all in here. And a lot of players ain't got half of what Larry got in here. The skills were amazing. The timing was amazing. You know, the dude had he could do it. He could do anything. He could do everything. He really could. Not many chinks in his armor. You can't find a lot of holes in this game. You really can't. Of all the players to ever play the game of basketball, he's one of those guys where it's like, I'm analyzing him up and down, and while he may not be the best at everything, he's damn good at practically everything. And you're not going to find a lot of holes in his armor. One of the greatest shooters to ever play the game. The greatest shooter of his era by far. Nobody even compares to him. And the crazy thing is, as much as we talk about how great his shooting is, many people could argue that, honestly, I think his rebounding and his passing was better than his shooting. And that says a lot. That's no slight against his shooting. That says a lot. Anywho, that's all I got to say about it. Let me know what you think about it. Please give your opinion on anything you saw here. Any type of context. How does Larry make you feel? Just let me know, man. Love to hear what you got to say. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and I'll catch you on the next one, folks. We out, baby.